What's up, chess players? I'm so excited to share this video with you because chances are the mistakes that my subscribers have made in these games, you are making it as well. And so if you're watching it, if you really understand the point, and I'm gonna delivering it in the best way, I'm gonna explain it to you in all details. If you really understand that, you're gonna bring your chess to a completely new level. So definitely take a look at this video. So my subscriber Sammy has played as white. Hopefully I pronounced the nickname correctly. The game started with e4, e5. That is a very short game, but at the same time very instructive one. So let's take a look. That's the Philidor defense, like the classical version of it. I don't recommend you, if you want to play the Philidor, to play it like that, because I do it with a d6 move first, and well, it's just more flexible for black. Let's put it that way. So e4, e5, bishop c4, d6, and knight f3 kind of already creating a threat of knight g5, so you can't just ignore it and play knight f6 because, well, that might be dangerous. Although here there is a move d5, so it's still okay, but I understand why black played here bishop to e7, just trying to eliminate the whole possibility altogether, and yeah, saying that way it would be safe, because now after knight g5 you can just castle. So that is a very typical way, but white is trying to be very active in the center, and I pretty much like this approach because the king is still in the center, the opponent's king, and so knight takes e4 might be dangerous here. You are just sacrificing the pawn, saying that you are gonna get a huge advantage in terms of initiative here. So takes on d4 and knight takes d4. That is the move I'm not entirely sure about, because now knight d4 seems like a possibility, because afterwards black can play d5, for example, rook e1 and just d5. And whenever black manages to play d5, it is usually very good for black, because now the knight is secure. There is a time for castling, and yeah, seems like everything is more or less good for black. So here after after e takes d, I guess there was queen takes d4, because yes, there is knight c6, which is pretty unfortunate, but you can step back with the queen, still preparing the move e5, but protecting the pawn on e4. Very important central pawn, which you don't want to lose, obviously. So that was possible, but yeah, it's a minor thing here. Queen to f3, white decided just to sacrifice really this pawn and go all in for the attack. But of course, if you play d5, it's really so solid for black. I don't even see any attack. I mean, you can try to play rook e1, saying that, yeah, feel free to take my bishop, I'm going to take your knight and get the e-file, but I'm not obliged to take your bishop. I can just step back with the knight. And yeah, the position seems to be very solid for black, just castles next, and where is your compensation for the pawn? I mean, the pawn is the soul of the game, and you have just sold your soul for nothing. I mean, that's not the way it should be, I guess. And so here, instead of d5, black just played knight f6, which is very good. Once again, d5 is still possible in the future. And what is your point here with this sacrifice? Now d5 after bishop e3 is even better, because there is no rook along the e-file. Yes, you're developing a lot of pieces, but it's just not enough. Those pieces are not creating any threats, and black is just doing completely great here. But yeah, castle's also a very good move, but you're gonna see what's happening here, and that is just an amazing game. So let's take a look. Knight c3. Now white is developing everything here. All of the minor pieces are developed, the queen is developed, only the rooks are left, but I still see no problem for black. That's my biggest concern. I would just play something like c6 and d5 and control the centers and just finish my development. 97, knight e5 is also a very good idea. Let's see, c6 has been played, queen to g3, so obviously white is trying to create some threats, but there are no threats. I mean, you can try to play bishop h6, but even knight h5 is completely fine there. So king h8 has been played. Yeah, that is a problem that a lot of low-rated players are having, and the mistakes that a lot of low-rated players are making. If the threat is not there, don't waste your time defending against it, because like I said, okay, you're thinking bishop h6 is a dangerous threat, so you can just, yeah, I don't know, let's play a5 to make my point here. So you should just think, okay, what could you do against this threat? And of course queen g7 is a checkmate threat, so you can either defend it with knight h5, and then you're defending and attacking at the same time, or maybe you can just block it with knight g4, and then you're attacking this bishop, the bishop has to go back, and then you're basically just winning the time. So there is no threat. existing in the position here. And if that's the case, then don't waste your time. Just develop your piece. I don't know, do something useful for you. Maybe knight d7 is a bad example because it actually allows knight to f5, and then yeah, the knight is very, very active here. That is something I don't want. But d5, just continue the plan. c6, d5, that is what we said should be the plan. Then this bishop can go to d6. Then yeah, you just can continue everything, developing everything, and then black is doing here much, much better. But king h8 is just given time for white to create some threats, and that is something I don't really like. Although still the position is better for black, especially after this knight f3 move. I mean, it's a move back. You never want to go back. And I understand that the idea is to somehow play knight g5, attack the f7 pawns, and maybe queen h4, but feels like it's very slow. And normally, if you have a feeling it's very slow, then it means that your opponent might have something to punish you, something immediate here. And here black is just winning in one move. Can you find it? Try to pause the video for a second and find the best move for black. It's a very instructive moment. Okay, I hope you have found it. The move is knight to h5, attacking the queen, and the queen suddenly has no moves to go. Big surprise. Why? Because you have played knight f3, and now the queen can't go to f3 anymore. h4 is covered, this bishop controls this diagonal, and f4 is covered by the knight, e5 is covered by the pawn. You're just losing your queen. Game over. C'est la vie. I mean, that's very sad here, because seems like you're active, you're trying to attack, but you just can't play that slowly. So you need either to bring more pieces into your attack, I don't know, with a rook, but I still don't see any problems for black. At least you are not losing your queen if you are doing that. But still, knight g4 is possible. I mean, a lot of interesting ideas for black. So don't sacrifice your pawn if you are not entirely sure that you have enough compensation for it. If your initiative is really enough to create dangerous threats for your opponents, don't sacrifice just with the purpose of sacrificing. Of course, if it wasn't a blunder, I don't know, maybe the guy just blundered and I'm talking here philosophically about sacrifices and it all doesn't matter. But knight f3 is of course a huge blunder because, yeah, that is losing the queen, but black didn't play that. Black didn't play knight h5, just d5 instead, which is still good. I mean, that's attacking the bishop, and after bishop d3, still knight h5 is possible. Although now the e5 square is covered. So why that happened? Because black didn't use the formula that I'm always teaching in my videos to find the best move in the position. If you haven't watched it yet, the video when I explain the formula, then somewhere here you should see the link, and definitely I recommend you because that's gonna change your chess forever. So the formula is checks, captures, threats, and active moves. That is a formula you must use every time in every position to find the best move. So checks. Can you give any checks here as black? No, you can't. Maybe let me flip it to make it simpler for you. Can you capture something? No, it's physically not possible. Can you attack something? And here, when we are talking about the threats, you should start from the top. The king, the queen, the rooks, the bishops, the knights, and in the end of the day, the pawns. So can you create any threats against the king? Not really. The king is very secure. Can you create any threats against the queen? Yes, you can. You can just attack it, and then, of course, you're not making the move immediately. You're calculating the variations, whether the queen has a good square, because, once again, you're not playing the hope chess. You're not attacking the queen, hoping, oh my god, my opponent can just blunder it, and then I'm gonna win the queen. Let's do that. No, that's not the way chess works, and I don't want you to do that. What I want you to do is to calculate the variations. So here, knight h5, what could queen do? Has the queen any squares to go? And if the answer is no, then it means you're just winning the queen, and of course you should go for it. So if you are starting with this order, you would even never consider the move d5. Why? Because attacking the bishop comes after attacking the queen. And so when you're just starting with the most active move, you always find the right one. If it works, of course. Sometimes you might have a check, but it doesn't bring you anything, so you still need to calculate the variations. But this order of the most active moves, it's so essential to find the best move. Okay, so let's go back, because something very extraordinary happened in this game. d5, bishop d3, bishop d6. And this move, yeah, it's attacking the queen. That's a perfect example for my point. But the queen has a very good square. queen to h4, and actually the queen is more active here than it was before. So it's a very good example of this hope chess. Black is playing bishop to d6, trying to say, I'm attacking the queen. Chances are my opponent is not gonna see it, and then I'm gonna win the queen. Isn't that perfect? But it's not the way chess works, and it's not the way you should do it. So after queen h4, white just improved the position, and now really you can feel that there are some danger here for black. And actually the bishop was also better on e7, because then it was creating some pressure against the queen. Now it's not. So bishop went back to e7, and so that means that black just wasted 2 tempi for nothing. Instead of developing new pieces somehow, just nothing has changed in the position. But white's queen is now on h4, and white has an additional tempo to, I don't know, create a threat, which happened, of course, here. Knight g5 with a double threat of attacking both of the pawns, the f7 and the h7 pawns. And you might be very surprised, but knight g5 is actually a mistake, quite a big one, as now black can just play h6, and there is absolutely nothing here for white. I mean, the f7 pawn is protected, and there is only one attacker and only one defender, so it's not enough to create a huge threat. And otherwise, you should just go back, and then you have done exactly what black has just done. So that's a hope chess, playing knight to g5, hoping that my opponent might not see the fact that h7 pawn is hanging and not play the move h6, and then I'm gonna win. I mean, and it worked. The most important thing here, you might say, it worked, because black played knight e4, and after queen takes h7, that's a checkmate. But I mean, it's not the way it's supposed to work, and that shouldn't be the case. I mean, now white would think, I have played an amazing game. I have attacked, I was so active, I have developed all of my pieces. But no, actually you played pretty badly, because here after h6, once again, black has a huge advantage here. The knight will go somewhere, then some discover attacks are possible, or knight g4, and the queen is under attack, and you just don't have anything at all. And after knight e4, of course, you're delivering a checkmate in one, you're happy, everything is great, but please learn the lesson. Don't play the hope chess. So instead of knight to g5 here, you could have played bishop g5. And that really creates a dangerous threat, because bishop takes f6 is on your agenda, and then nobody protects the h7 pawn. So you need to do something. h6 is also not a good move, because you can take it, sacrificing the bishop, and I mean, that is a huge initiative here. You can connect the rooks, the knight might jump, and yeah, in most of the cases you should deliver a checkmate, and according to the engine that is a completely winning position. So black really has to think about the right move. g6 is also doesn't feel like a good one, because you are weakening this diagonal hugely. Now you can play rook e1, threatening rook takes, and black is in trouble. So the right move is knight d7, and then you should try to put even more pressure somehow. Rook e1, I mean, that's still very, very good for white. So bishop g5 is very strong move, creating a threat, but it's not really about the hope chess, because there is no easy move for black to deal with this threat, and then you need to go back. If after the move h6 you wouldn't have anything better than bishop e3 back, then of course I would say bishop g5 is a bad move. But since there is bishop takes h6, and of course you need to calculate the variations to find it, otherwise it's not possible. But it's a pretty easy calculation, because at least you know that you have 2 pawns for the bishop now. The opponent's king is absolutely naked, so you have a huge initiative here, and you have a lot of pieces that might potentially, you could bring it to the attack, and then you are going to be crushing your opponent's king. So that is why you can say it based on your intuition. You can sacrifice the bishop, even if you don't really see it till the end where is the checkmate. But you can just make a conclusion that you're going to have so many threats that it's enough to sacrifice the bishop there. But knight g5, if you see that, okay, you're attacking this h7 pawn, f7 pawn you're not really attacking. So that's the only threat. What is a logical way for black to deal with this threat? To move the pawn, because now the pawn is not under attack. What could be simpler than that? And then, do you have any follow-up? You can't take, you don't have any checks, you don't have any captures, because the bishop can't take, and so you don't have anything except for going back. And then it means immediately that knight g5 is just a bad idea, and you are coming up to the next one. That is the way it should be. Always remember to calculate the moves, not only for yourself, but also for your opponent. Very, very important. Okay, I'm done here with my explanations. Hopefully it was instructive for you. Hopefully, I mean, I'm not harsh on you because I'm just trying to help you, trying to help you improve your chess, really be aggressive, but in the right way, really sacrifice, but in the right way, not just giving up the pawn for nothing, but giving up the bishop to open up your opponent's king, because there you have a really good reason to do that. And then you can create those checkmating threads and finally deliver a checkmate. So if you have liked these videos and this one, they really help just bring your chess understanding into a completely new level, because I'm reviewing my subscribers' games and they made some incredible mistakes there, but it would help you not repeat that in your games.